Hello and welcome to another Overpaid Over the Bar Fantasy Football Mini League with me, Anthony. And we're going to discuss the upcoming double game week, which is game week 24, and other chip issues going on, very relevant at the moment. And who better to join us than the current leader of Overpaid Over the Bar, Tom Crossland by nature, Crossland by name. Tom Crossland, hello.
Hi. That's a very nice reception. Thank you. Um, yeah, pleasure to be here. And yeah, I don't know what's going on, so I'm looking forward to this chat because I'm going to learn. I've just discovered there's like a blank game week or something. Game week 29. I mean, how do you find this stuff out?
Well, it's there. Well, basically, because of the cups, this happens every season, Tom. You're a bit out of practice, but every season, the FA Cup and the League Cup get to a point where they create blanks
Yeah.
um, because of the teams that are still involved in those cups. So there will be a League Cup final in game week 29. So the two teams playing in the League Cup final will not be able to honour their Premier League fixtures. So those two teams will probably be Newcastle and Liverpool. It could
Well,
be
that's interesting.
Arsenal or Spurs also. And so,
I hope it's Newcastle and Liverpool.
well, they won't play in 29 if it's them, and they won't play, their opponents won't play either, which I think would be Crystal Palace and somebody else. We can look at that later.
What's Andy Carroll doing these days?
Well, you mentioned him. He's playing for Bordeaux in France.
What? He's still
Yes,
playing.
yes, yes.
Look, I'd have him in my fantasy team.
Yeah, he actually, I think they're a second or third division team, and he just wants to play football.
Good.
I may be wrong. This was at the start of the season, and he scored a goal or two, and everyone was like, "Fucking hell, Andy Carroll's still playing," like like you. Um, so yeah, Capricorns go on and on. We don't stop. Jamie Vardy's a Capricorn. People were talking about
Oh yeah.
People were talking about Ollie Watkins yesterday.
He's young though,
He's a
Ollie.
Capricorn, yeah, but he'll go until he's 30. Look at his fitness levels. He'll go until he's like 35.
What about Haaland?
Haaland, what sign is he? I think he's a Pisces or a
He's
Cancer.
got a 9.5 year contract. Yeah, that's quite a long contract.
Yeah. He's a Cancer, I think. Anyway, back. First of all, let's look at the game week that went. That's just gone. The game week that went. Let's have a look at the game week that went. Uh, and
Are you showing your screen? Do I need to get mine up?
I'm trying to share my screen. I just looked at it and went, how the hell do I do this? It's like, there it is. There it is. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so um, I'll have to look at the points. I'll just go to my team first. Well, can you see my team there, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, so in this game week, people who backed Gakpo did well. Um, the Bournemouth trounced Forest, which was utterly bizarre. With
Was that Baby Kluivert?
He scored and assisted, I think. He got more points for
Oh,
you and Piers.
that's good for me. Yeah.
What did he do? Yeah, he got a goal and an assist. Um,
Oh, that's pretty good.
and Ouattara,
Oh, I
Dango,
got cells. He made
Dang,
5 saves. That's good.
Dango Unchained got 3 goals.
Dango
Um,
Unchained.
yeah,
Who's that?
well, he's called Ouattara Dango.
Is he new?
No, he's been at Bournemouth the whole season, but he's in and out of the team since. Basically,
Oh,
what's happened is that Evan Nilsson, the
is he a one-hit
Brazilian.
wonder?
Well, not yet. He's not. Um, Evan Nilsson, a Brazilian forward, was first choice forward for Bournemouth, and then he got injured. And the
Oh, okay.
people who had Clivert, like you and Piers, and I was saying, don't buy Clivert because he plays 70 minutes. Well, what's happened is since Evan Nilsson's got injured, Clivert not only plays 90 minutes, but he's also moved further up the field where he's loving it. So he's suddenly become this asset of gold. Um, uh, Everton won at Brighton, Liverpool, yeah.
Who?
Newcastle
Oh, is that
still,
Moyes? Is Moyes back at Everton?
Moyes is back at Everton and he's doing well.
I've got him in as assistant manager.
We'll talk about that. So Newcastle, Isak's Isak got plenty of
Oh
points
yeah, I've
again.
got him.
Yeah,
Isak's good.
Isak is like Salah now. He's kind of indispensable. Um, Arsenal defense kept a clean sheet for a change, although the statistics, their probabilities are always good in terms of expected goals conceded.
Sorry,
But
I dispute the statement that Salah is indispensable.
wait, do you have Salah? You don't have Salah?
I do, but I dispute that he's indispensable.
Oh, this is a good conversation. So I'm looking at your teams. You got Salah's captain. Obviously, he's indispensable this week, and you're going to triple captain him for the double game week. Am I wrong?
You're wrong, yeah.
What?
Um, no, because I can't do the assistant manager and triple
Oh,
captain Salah.
Tom. I know you're
And
ahead
there's
of
going to
me.
be,
I know I
you've just
shouldn't.
told me there's going to be another double game week, isn't there?
Have you, wait, have you already done the assistant manager
Yeah,
transfer? You see,
yeah.
this is what when rookies play. Look, the assistant
It's all right. My
manager.
intuition so it's going to be fine. I'm just running
No,
on intuition. It's fine.
the one thing I was saying one thing I was going to say is that assistant manager, the chip, is causing a lot of problems. There have been glitches in the system where people have put their assistant manager in and they couldn't change their captain afterwards, and that's not supposed to happen. That's not part of the deal. Um,
I think I've set up my captain already, though.
yeah.
I mean, I thought when I left the team as it's supposed to be, I always try and do that just in case I don't have time to look at it again.
So now I don't have to worry every time Salah scores a goal in this double game week. You haven't got him triple captained.
No, you have to worry about Moyes beating Liverpool.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's out of the question. I think a draw would be. Last season they beat them 2-0, Everton at home. And
I
that was
can't
a
imagine it's going to happen. I mean, Liverpool's got to win that fixture, haven't they? But it'd be a fairy tale for Moyes.
it'd be a fair tale for you as it stands with Moyes as triple captain as an assistant manager.
Well, it would be. That'd be nice. Yeah.
Um, so this is your team. Guardiola is a great choice. I mean, City are back on form.
You know, he's been so shit.
No,
Why have I got a Guardiola? Like at the beginning of the season, I had him.
I'll
He
tell you
didn't get
why.
any
I'll tell you why
points.
Guardiola. He scored 5 goals. He's a defender.
Yes.
He scored five
So
goals.
when the period that Guardiola was really good was the period when I didn't have him, and then I got him back in, and then City went to shit, and just recently he's picked up a few points, but he's been terrible. It's
Do you
been
know
really
what?
painful to
Do you know what
watch.
I'm considering? I shouldn't say this.
Yeah.
I'm considering wildcarding and getting Man City in, including Haaland.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
Not this week. The only problem is that I'm not going to play the assistant manager till the very last minute because you don't have to because they don't go up and down in price.
Mm.
So I'm probably going to play Arne Slot this week as assistant manager, and then I can't play the wild card for 3 weeks. But I'm itching to play the wild card and getting loads of City in.
I
Just
think it's good.
I mean, I got so much fun early doors from getting rid of Haaland and getting in, Salah and Palmer
Yeah.
instead and whatever. I just feel like I need some fun again because I've got stuck in
I
this
haven't had
like
Haaland all season. I want to go the whole season without him.
I don't think there's an argument for having Haaland logically. I mean, logically there isn't one.
Well,
Um,
there's the argument that he's going to get a shitload of points from here to the end of the season.
yeah, but I mean, how many points is he going to get more than two players that you could have instead of him? You know,
But
really? And is he guaranteed? Because Manchester City, if you look at their results
maybe
recently,
Foden, right?
yeah,
Foden's coming back.
but if you look at their results recently, yes, they picked up in form, but they drew at Brentford 2-2, right? They lost. They beat West
Frank,
Ham. They beat West Ham and Leicester. Well, anyone can beat them. They drew 1-1 at home to Everton. Chelsea are the only decent team they've had a result against. And
you
yeah, that's,
saying Ipswich not decent?
I don't think they are. Controversial opinion.
Hold
So
on, didn't they beat Bruges last night?
Ipswich,
No,
yeah,
Man
they did.
City.
Yeah, they did, and Bruges also are not very good.
Well,
So
well, they've got through, haven't they? The
no,
qualifiers or
they are
whatever.
back on form, and I do back them. I'm just saying logically there is no argument for Haaland still. But I am saying that also there's no reason to suggest when they come up against somebody good, like lo and behold, Arsenal on Sunday.
Hmm.
They're playing at the Emirates on Sunday. I don't see Manchester City getting anything from that. And Arsenal will do what they do every time against Manchester City and just kill the game, make it a boring
Well,
spectacle.
Arsenal, I'm sure they're going to score at least one goal against Arsenal because I've got an Arsenal defender.
I mean, they probably will score a goal in that game, but I don't think they'll win it. I think Arsenal will win it.
Yeah, it might be a draw, or
Yeah.
maybe Arsenal will win.
I mean, I
Who
think
knows?
Arsenal would
Maybe
be
City will win.
Arsenal would be okay with a draw. They don't want to give up anything to Manchester City. That's one team they really do not want to give up anything to. As long as they don't lose it,
But
they'll
Man
be
City have
fine.
done so much for them, they should give something back, shouldn't they?
That's how it works, isn't it? Yeah. No, I don't think Arteta wants to finish behind Guardiola again this season. And then they've got Newcastle at home. This is Manchester City's fixtures. They got Newcastle at home and Liverpool at home. So the next three fixtures, we really find out if they're back. So maybe I should play assistant manager on a slot, watch them struggle in those three games, and maybe they won't get anything out of them, and then still get them in because then they've got Spurs away, they'll beat them, Forest away, Brighton at home, Leicester at home, and so I am considering. I'm not going to necessarily going to do it, but I am considering wildcarding Manchester City players in. Um, there's this new player for Manchester City. Did you see this?
What's he called?
He's called. Oh, it's a comedy name. What's he called? Hang on. Uh, Not Price Rises. Why did I do that? I need Manchester City. What am I doing?
Marmouche.
Mamouche. Mamouche, can you do the fandango, as Keith said on the chat? So he did the fandango, but he didn't score in the first game. But look at that. He's got 127,000 transfers in. Because
Huh.
people like the look of his jib, and I must say I did too. The cut of his jib, like the look of his jib. Yeah.
Nice jib.
So, so Mamouche, I mean, at 7.0, I don't really have room for him up front unless he comes in for Chris Wood. But I think he's a really interesting buy. I think, looking at what he's doing, he's making the runs. He makes the runs. So up until now, they've just had Haaland making the runs up front, and he's brought him in to confuse defenses. So Haaland isn't always, I mean, it's easy to mark and block out Haaland when he's the only person making the forward run. So Marmouche has been brought in to confuse defenses, and he does look like a really good football player. Um, so that is a recommended transfer. There's a lot of recommended transfers, I have to say. This it's crazy right now. Um,
Yeah, I could get rid of Havertz, I guess, but
are you going to do that? You've already made your transfer this week, have you?
yeah, well, I mean, I've got
How many have you
pretty
got?
much as many transfers as I want, but I don't need to make any transfers. You know, I can save them.
Let's have a look. How many transfers have you got in the bank? Oh
I've
my
got like three or
gosh.
four.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got three or four in the bank. Oh my gosh.
So,
Yeah,
you
you're in
know, I'm
such a
basically
strong
I'm not
position.
making any transfers unless there's a glaring problem with my team. And I think
Hmm.
that there isn't really. It's just, I mean, Havertz can
I
improve
mean,
him.
Havertz, I think he got point. I think he scored a goal against Liverpool, against Manchester City last season. He's a typical kind
Hold
of player
on.
to score in that game.
Okay, I've shipped him out. Of course, you're seeing my last week's team.
Okay, so you've made
Shall I
two
share my?
transfers.
Shall I share? How
Go
do I share
ahead.
my screen?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
How does this work? More share. Where do I share? How does this work, Anthony? How can I share my screen?
You go down the bottom, make it full screen first of all.
Oh,
Make
share.
yeah.
Safari. Hold on. I've got to change my privacy settings. Just a second.
This is great. This is great YouTube video. I'm just the same when I'm trying to share. I'm always still like taking forever.
You know what? It's saying um
You've got blocks on stuff like that, haven't you? You got like it's all right. Just run us through the transfer.
okay, is this
Oh, there you
working?
go. That is working. All right. So you've got Gakpo, Luis Diaz, and Salah. So you transferred out.
So I can yeah, Havertz has gone,
Yeah.
and I got Gakpo in
Okay.
because of the double game week, right?
That's right. So you can see there are two fixtures, away fixtures for Liverpool.
But
Yeah.
also I got Moyes. Also I got Moyes
Oh, you
as
got him.
my
Can you just
assistant
scroll down
manager.
a little bit so we can see his face in the little Ha! I haven't done the assistant manager yet. You get the whole picture. That's funny. I can't wait to do mine now. That's funny.
So
He's
I
sitting there on
mean,
the bench.
look at him. He's got 19 points. He's the leader of the assistant managers. But who's got assistant managers up to now? Nobody, right? What's that 19 points about?
Well, that was what he would have scored last week. They've just given you what he would have scored
Uh,
if you had him last week.
it's,
So
it's, it's just
so if you'd
fucking
had him
hell.
last
So
week,
everyone's gone and got Moyes because he's got 19 points, right?
maybe that's probably why people are like, yeah, I'll have those 19
But,
points.
but he does have this double game
I
week
think
as
I'll buy
well.
Watara as well, so he can get his hat trick.
So what
Um,
do you think about this strategy? Is it completely crazy?
well, the only thing with Moyes that somebody pointed out is that the following two games after this one are not against teams that are 5 places above them.
I can transfer him out.
You can, you have the transfers. But that's one argument against him is that after the double game week, they're playing teams that he won't get any bonus for beating, and Everton struggle to win games. So otherwise, I mean, Leicester at home. I mean, quite possible they'll
Leicester at
beat Leicester
home.
at home. Quite possible they'll beat Leicester at home. And Leicester are not
They
good.
could beat Liverpool. They could get a draw against Liverpool.
And they could, if they get a draw against Liverpool, you'll get loads of points. I think it's three for a draw and 6 bonus, something like that.
I mean, it's a bit of a long shot, isn't it? But
It's like 10
hey,
points. I mean, the thing that I like about Slot is that manager gets one point for a goal and 2 points for a clean sheet. And I think in those two games, um, Liverpool will score 5 goals, maybe 4, 5. So that's an extra
mm,
5 points. And then might be a clean sheet in as well. So it doesn't look like a great choice in terms of, oh, he only gets 6 points for a win. But if he gets 2 wins, he gets 12 points, and then it might go up to 17 or 18, depending on how many goals they score and how many clean sheets they get. Um, so you weren't tempted by Trent then?
um, oh, he's too expensive, isn't he?
Well, it depends on your setup.
I mean, I've got enough for him. I, I think it's like what you said. Whose boat has sailed? I can't remember who it was. You said Wood. You said Wood's boat has
Yeah,
sailed.
but I was wrong about that. I said that about
Yeah, I
eight,
know.
eight, 8 weeks ago.
I, I know. But for me, I'm in that situation with Trent.
Right.
So for me, Trent's boat has sailed. It's like,
Mm.
let bygones be good. I mean, I could get him in, but who am I
I
going to get rid of? Gabriel,
Well,
Gvardiol.
personally, I mean, I wouldn't. Obviously, you can't do this now, but personally, I think he's a much better choice than Luis Diaz. If I had three Liverpool, which I probably won't, because I'll have on
But
a
Trent is
slot.
a defender, right?
Yeah, but he will outscore
So
Luis
I've got to
Diaz.
get rid of Diaz, get another midfielder. Who do I get? Foden? I don't know. Son? No.
I mean, there's
But
loads
Luis
of.
Diaz, I think he's good for this weekend. Hopefully he'll play
Oh no,
both
I mean,
games.
Luis Diaz will hopefully start both those games and Could
So,
easily
you
could
know,
easily
it's just I
outscore
had him in.
Gakpo, but I just think long term Trent is a better choice. In terms of he's
But
cheaper
then
than
then I have to
Diaz.
get rid of which defender though. I mean, who would you get rid of?
Well, that's a good point. You've already got Guardiola, so you probably can't have Trent in that case. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
And I'm quite happy. I mean, Robinson, I think he's great. Gabriel, okay, Gabriel's been a bit naff in terms of fantasy returns, but
No, he's been good. He's had clean sheets recently. So I'm happy with him. I've got him.
and Hall's been great, but maybe his time in the sun has come to an end. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they've got Fulham at home. He does get forward though. I mean, he had a couple of shots from just on the edge of the box in the last game. He could well have an attacking return or two. Again, which he had earlier this season.
I
There's
mean,
one.
I guess what I should do though is put Gakpo as my vice captain.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Let's just see if you can do that because not on the info, not on the info on the main. Click on the main image.
I
Oh,
think
you can't do it. You
because I've got
can't
my
do
assistant
it.
manager
Oh
active.
my God. They've really messed this up.
You can't change your vice
You
captain.
can't change your captain or vice captain when you've got assistant manager active, and they shouldn't be happening. Oh, this is live. This is great. This is great. We're
Hold
exposing fancy
on.
football live. This is really bad.
I'm gonna have to refresh the page. Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
Reload.
Okay. Click on him.
Three
There you
vice
go.
captain.
There you go. So, well, that's what people were failing to do.
Yeah, so there's probably some issue with some JavaScript that's been cached.
So you've solved
So
it
you
just
got
by
to, if that
refreshing the
happens to
screen.
you, reload the page, okay?
So, people, if you see that, refresh the screen and you'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, no, I heard about this last night on one of the podcasts that people are reporting that they can't change their captain if they've got assistant manager already active. Ah,
Yeah,
love it.
all
Okay,
part of the
now,
fun.
now, there is a chance, evidently, there is a chance that there will be a double game week next week as well, because next week is not next week, it's the week after, because of the cup next weekend. So in 2 weeks' time, there will be game week 25. And in game week 25, there is a possibility that a Spurs fixture will be added if they qualify for the. Um, Actually, I'm not sure about that. I don't know why it's being added. I think it's because if they get through to the League Cup final, but they surely won't.
Spurs won't get through to anything, will they?
No, well, they're 1-0 up against Liverpool, but they're going to Anfield. I doubt they'll get through. I don't know why, but people are saying there might be a Spurs double game week next week, 25. Um,
Well, would you really want to suffer two Spurs games?
well, it would
No.
really throw the cat among the pigeons because, first of all, nobody knows how good Spurs are in terms of game to game. I mean, they're pretty rubbish
Well,
generally at the moment.
I mean, you
Um,
wouldn't get Madison in, would you? Who would you get
well, he
in?
doesn't even start now a lot of the time. Or he was supposedly a bit sick or injured or something on.
Kulusevski? Kulusevski's not a bad asset, is he?
Kulusevski is among the five players who created the most big chances in the not just in the Premier League, but in the top five leagues in Europe this season.
Yeah, I think he's a decent punt.
Which which doesn't say a lot for Spurs' finishing. Um, I mean, obviously most of them have been missed because he hasn't got that many assists.
What's going on with Van der Ven? Why isn't he playing?
I mean, him and Romero have been constantly. I think Romero's back, but he's constantly injured. No, Romero's
And
not back. He's
who's this
still down
back?
as a red
I mean,
flag.
what is the Spurs? Pedro Porro. I mean, kind of last season's wonder boy.
Well, no, he's scored a few and assisted a few this season, but Spurs always concede. I mean, nearly always. That's why he's not really worth
Yeah,
it.
I wouldn't get a Spurs defender.
I mean,
What's up with Madison?
yeah, no, I
Calf
honestly,
injury.
if Spurs double, I don't know who you'd get in. I don't think I'd even get in. I mean, Solanke's injured. I mean, but this is in 2 weeks' time, so we got plenty of time to worry about that if it happens. Evidently, it'll be announced quite soon. But then I don't know why. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe this is up.
So maybe it's not a bad choice for assistant managers though, and Jay, for a double game
Well,
week.
that's right. That's right. So if you're playing your assistant manager already, it would be worth playing him in the case
Mm.
that well, I don't think he's going to play anybody that high above him, although they're quite far down the table, aren't they?
It might be interesting because it might not be Ange by that time.
Just have a look at the Spurs fixtures, click on information of one of the players. So game week 25 is Man United at home. That's not five places. No, they haven't got fixtures against teams above them. Um, one team I was looking at for game week 25 as to come off slot and go on to another manager, I think was Fulham because they're playing somebody quite high up at home. So just have a look at game week 25 fixtures.
Fixture game week 25.
Yeah, Fulham are playing Nottingham Forest at home. Now, Forest may be going off the boil, I was trying to say. Um,
You think
and
so? Forest are doing great, aren't they?
well, they just lost 5-0 at Bournemouth. It could be that they just fall off a little bit. Let's see what happens
Mm.
this weekend. They're playing Brighton at home this weekend, which looks like a not an easy fixture, but a very winnable fixture. So if they slip up there, I think putting the assistant manager chip on Marco Silva for Fulham would be quite a good move for game week 25. How much is he?
Who did you say? Silver,
Silva, yeah,
1.1. It's quite expensive.
1.1. Yeah, well, they're quite a good team. Fulham are a decent team, but they are at the minute 5 places behind Nottingham Forest. Um, at least. I mean, it may be the case that Forest slip up a bit before that fixture and it reduces, but it's only what is it? It's only one game, so I doubt it.
Why are they calling this assistant manager?
Well, so people can joke that the name is Assman. I have no idea why. Yeah,
Because then you could have
I don't
an
know why it's not the
assistant
manager
assistant
chip. Yeah,
manager.
yeah. You could have the assistant manager instead. Yes, the one that nobody remembers the name of instead of the real manager. Yeah, no, I don't know why assistant manager. Well, because they're assisting you, Tom. You're the manager.
Yeah, yeah, I
David
understand that.
Moyes is assisting you.
But I mean, there is scope for them to like bring in another manager next season, so you could have two assistant
I mean,
managers.
I'm bringing in Arnie Slot because he's nice and I won't have any shit from him. I mean, I think having David Moyes sitting beside you on the Saturday could be a bit annoying.
Well, I'm not going to talk with him.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are the fixtures looking? What's your prediction for
Right,
this
fixtures.
week?
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes. So fixtures for this
Forest
weekend.
Brighton.
I'm saying Forest. I don't think Brighton are very good.
Chris Wood.
Hopefully, I've got him now. I'm not playing.
Okay.
I'm not playing Murillo for that game, so hopefully Brighton score.
Bournemouth Liverpool.
Well, I haven't watched Bournemouth. Let me be honest. I watched Bournemouth a couple of times, but not recently in their purple patch. I can't. I don't know if if the real Liverpool turns up. And remember, they've had a rest in midweek. They didn't play anybody in the Champions League game. Even Salah got a rest. Um, I just don't think. I think that Liverpool are just so committed and professional and they really like he juggles that team around. He doesn't have any egos in there. You got players like really good players like Szoboszlai and um
He's a good player, so obviously.
yeah, but he doesn't start every game. You don't see him throwing tantrums, you know.
I was going to get him in actually.
Curtis Jones is a brilliant player. They've got they're at that perfect point where all the players that he's substituting, he's that he's mixing. What's the word? Rotating. none of them have big enough egos to upset the rhythm of the team. I mean, Darwin might be a bit of a twat, but you don't see him causing problems about being on the bench now. I mean, I think he's moving on either before this end of this transfer window or in the summer. Um, but I do think that they have, he also has the ability to change the game, and he changes the game to positive effect slots quite often, where second half they look better than they did first half.
So he's better than Klopp, is he?
Well, no, you know who I compare this with, and everyone else is too young, but in the 70s, Liverpool had a manager called Bill Shankly. And Bill Shankly was an incredible character. He was like a talisman of the club. He was like this icon, not just because of how good he was as a manager in terms of inspiring his players, but also the way he spoke.
Has he got a
Uh,
stand named after him?
what?
Does he have a stand named after him?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah. Um, I mean, he's a legend. Uh, Sort of a dry Scotsman. He was the one who's. I mean, he made really funny comments. Like football's not a matter of life and death. It's more important than that, and stuff like he had these quotes that he had. Um,
Yeah.
what happened was that he took Liverpool into being a major force in the 70s, and he won a couple of FA Cups and the league a couple of times in that decade. And then a manager called Bob Paisley came along, and Bob Paisley was a Geordie. Bill Shankly was a Scotsman, and Bob Paisley basically took what Shankly had done and just calmed everybody down and got on with it. And he won more than Bill Shankly. He won 3 European Cups. He won the league almost every season in the 80s. And he out trophied Bill Shankly by miles.
I wonder
But
if
he
there's any
didn't
documentaries about that period.
but he didn't have Shankly's personality. He didn't have his charisma. He didn't have that thing that Klopp has. And I very much see Slot as a potential Bob Paisley here. Like he's going to come in, take what. I mean, basically, he made no transfers last summer. No one can say he's better than Klopp because Klopp left him all these players. The only player he got in is Chiesa, who has not played.
I like
So
the way Klopp sounds like Clough,
yeah, Klopp and Clough, yeah,
like a German Clough.
yeah, 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 yeah. Um, so at the moment, Slot can do no wrong, and I mean, look, he could lose his next 10 games and win nothing this season. We don't know.
Hmm.
But I don't see that. The way it's going, I don't see that.
So what about Everton Leicester? Moyes back at home.
I mean, I think Leicester are rubbish. They won last weekend, but who did they beat? Was it Spurs? I think so.
Vardy scored, didn't he?
Yeah, I think they beat Spurs. I mean, I think Leicester are absolute rubbish. I think they're the worst team in the division virtually. Uh,
Western Ipswich.
I don't think Ipswich are that bad. I think they just have a lack of quality. I think their structure is good and they have some very good star players. I think Delap is amazing and Hutchison is also very good. Whereas
West-
Leicester have the
Hmm.
old boys only. They only have players like Ndidi and Vardy. They don't have any players that are properly coming through. Um, so yeah, on
So
Sun
Everton win. All right, Ipswich Southampton.
draw.
Southampton. That's John's team, isn't it?
Yeah, draw.
Okay, Newcastle Fulham.
Newcastle 2-1.
Who's going to score?
Mm, Gordon twice.
Really?
I've
No,
got
I'd
him.
like
I've got him and nobody else has. That's why.
Robinson for Fulham then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Robinson. Yeah.
All right, we can do that. Right, Wolves Aston Villa.
Um, I'll go Villa. I think Villa are looking good now, but then Wolves are better than they seem. 2-2.
Ollie Watkins back.
Yeah, he really is back. Yeah.
So good one for Wood, eh? If Nottingham Forest go off the boil.
Yeah, I think Forest will beat Brighton. Sorry, what? Where are we going?
So I'm just saying, Ollie Watkins might be a good um,
Oh,
replacement
transfer
for
in. Yeah, yeah,
Wood.
no, I'm thinking about him as well. Yeah, my potential wild card would have Watkins in possibly, yeah.
Okay. Brentford Spurs.
Um, Brentford 3-1. Burmo, Visser. Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Visser is another brilliant transfer
It's
right now. He's a brilliant transfer. Brentford's fixtures are really good.
that's a
Really,
good
really
one.
good. Yeah, 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 yeah. He's a really good transfer right now.
Is this Keith's team, Man U? Is that
Keith,
Keith's team?
yeah, that's right. Keith's team's Man U in it. He loves them. Honestly, he writes more about Man U than he does about Liverpool, so it must be his team. He's always writing
It's
about Man
not,
U on the chat.
whose team is it? Is it Craig's team? Whose team is it?
Nobody's team is Man U. We don't have one
Adam's
single.
team. Somebody's
Well,
a Man U
actually,
supporter.
no. To be fair, Tom, the other Tom,
Holloway.
no, that's John. The other Tom. this, this is disintegrating now. It's a good thing we're going to get cut off in a minute. Um, the other Tom, Tommy Watts, he supports Man United. I work with him.
Why?
He's a good lad. Well, he's from there. He's from there.
Okay,
He
well, fair
lived
enough.
in Manchester and Sheffield as a
Yeah,
youth.
okay. I mean, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Man U, Crystal Palace.
I think that Man U will beat Crystal Palace. I think Palace. I watched Palace at the weekend, and I was surprised how easily Brentford exposed them at the back. And I think they still lack a real
Okay,
spine. Yeah,
sorry, really quickly.
yeah.
Last three: Arsenal, City, Chelsea, West Ham, Everton, Liverpool.
Arsenal, Chelsea,